There were family meetings called and I was told to come and explain myself. First of all, who leaves a big job? But who leaves Safaricom?
You truly never know people until you take the time out to get to know people. You know, your life is so intertwined with Safaricom. And it's funny. So you're sharing so much about Safaricom, but I want people to understand you're sharing your life.
I'm sharing remember, I'm 50. I just turned 50. 22 years of that, my adult life was spent in Safaricom. I don't know how,
I completely understand.
You don't disconnect. It's not a year or two. It's not a job. It was 22 years of my life.
And again, it's not a place that you are going for 1 hour.
No, it was day in, day out.
You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
In this time, let me ask, when you start making that kind of money, do you have the wisdom to make proper financial decisions?
Yes. Because I saw what making wrong financial decisions did for my parents, and I didn't want to do that again. Both my husband had watched parents who, sometimes of their own doing and sometimes life happening, having issues with money. And so we were very careful from day one. I've always been.
Wow.
From day one.
So,
some things are non-negotiable. Saving is non-negotiable, yeah. You don't just wake up and decide you're going to go and buy a new car or just because you got a really good bonus. I told you I didn't do a wedding because I was like, I ain't spending this money on a one-day thing. That's going to annoy me anyway. I could do better things with my money. And now we own an apartment.
I get it.
Yeah. So, yeah, I
so
think we were
did you get yourself to the position where, now, because I've interviewed a lot of people here who are financial experts, and they're always talking about portfolio, savings. Did you put yourself into a place where if you never work again in your life, you're okay?
I wouldn't say work again in my life, no.
I'm asking never work again in your life.
I have 4 children
who
are still young, and there's school fees, and so no, I don't think it's a never again, but I'm in what I'd say a comfortable space. But we work hard every day, Richie. I don't think people just, unless you fell into some sort of ridiculous money, I don't think anybody will sit here and tell you that they don't have to ever work again. I don't think that's a reality. Money finishes very quickly if you're not careful. I've seen people who've inherited 100 million shillings and in months they can't find that money. They don't know what they did with their money.
And comes back to financial literacy. So there's savings and then there's investing. You see, your house is an investment.
It's all balance. There are risks we've taken. There's the non-negotiables, which is savings, which is low risk. It's the bank benefiting, but we also know that we're not risking that money.
I get it.
Then there's shares, there's all that. You're smart with your money, right? You'll buy shares in. Let me tell you, I bought Safaricom shares and then it went down to 2 shillings 50 and I nearly had a breakdown because I was like, that's all my money. Remember, when the Safaricom IPO happened, I took a loan from Equity Bank to buy as many shares as was allowed by us as employees. And for me, who's earning this much, and I've taken a 3 million shilling loan, and this is what is supposed to be in my world, giving me money, and then it goes from the 5 bob I bought it to 2 shillings 50 cents. I'm having an emotional breakdown because my money is gone.
Right now you must be dancing.
Right now you're dancing. It's 29 bob. But what I'm saying is that's the risk, right? I think you just have to be smart with your money.
Talking about that, are you given stock options at the time?
Yes, at Safaricom there was a shares scheme called ESAP, based again on performance. Every year you got at a level, at HOD level, we got a certain amount that was a retention tool, and then it vested in 3 years' time. So you had to stick around. It wasn't for free.
But you've been there 25 years, so they've...
No, and it wasn't for the whole... No. It wasn't for the whole... It was from the point I became HOD that I started getting them. At first, I was very foolish. As soon as I got them, they vested. Mimi, your holiday. But then I started I should never have, and obviously in hindsight, you always say you could have done things better. I should never have sold them. I should have left them in there. That would have been the smart thing to do. But having said that, look,
You had a good holiday, didn't you?
And not only holiday, it paid off certain things I needed to pay off. So there's no regrets, Richie. I
get
think,
it.
yeah.
But first of all, I'm really happy that that option was there.
Yes, it was. And I think it's still there, but I can't speak for it. So.
Yeah. Okay. So COVID
hits.
Michael Joseph's come back. You are at days, you're at work, but then this Bob Collymore, you've put it back burner. I think this one, did you bury yourself in work to not talk about it? But every day you're going, it's his desk, it's his...
I don't think I buried myself in work. I just continued working. And the reality was that Bob was no longer there, but the comfort was that we now had Michael back in. And one is not replacing the other. That's not what I mean, but we were getting things done. We were working. I think for me it was just the loss of somebody that I loved and respected so much as a human was a loss that I was just I was going through, I think is the right word to. Outside of my own family loss, I think Bob's has been the biggest for me. You know, my parents, like I said during the break, losing my parents, my uncle and my cousin were probably the most difficult losses I've faced. And then now with Bob, and I always say with Bob, I felt, you know, at least with my dad, my mom and my uncle, they had lived life. They were, you know, whereas my dad died at 62, which was the same age as Bob. I don't know that I processed both of it because I felt like they left when they were so young, at the age of 62. My mom lived on for more, so she was closer to the age of, she left at 76. So I think two deaths have really hit me hard where I said, it was unfair was my cousin who passed away at 26 and then Bob. And I always say it was unfair and I don't know that I'll ever see it any other way.
Unfair and unexpected, that's what you
Unexpected, both of them, because my cousin died in a road accident, 1 year older than me, only child to my uncle and aunt. And then Bob, who saw it coming, we knew he was getting better. We didn't see a life without him, really, Richie. Nobody prepared me for it. Nobody was supposed to prepare me for it, to be fair. Nobody owes me anything. But that was hard. That hit hard. Okay. That did, to be fair. That was also somebody I'd worked with for 10 years, had interacted with almost 10 years, had watched my kids grow up, had become just somebody that I talked to almost every single day. You know, every day we'd wake up to a message of, how did the athletic series go today? Hey, can you drop into my office? I need to brief you about what so-and-so wants from sponsorships. Hey, have you processed this? Hey, this complaint has come in. What have you done? That's, you're talking to this human every single day. Even in England, when he was away, we would have interactions while he's away. Even when jazz happened, we would have a live feed so that he could watch it from where he was. So this is somebody you're every single day, Richie, and now he's not there anymore.
Wow. Okay, so what happens next in this story? And of course, you know Michael is a placeholder at this time. Is there temporarily while a new CEO is being looked for?
Yeah, we knew there was a new interviews were going on, etc. Look, I had already started questioning in 2020 because, and so did the whole world. If nobody ever took a come to Jesus moment in 2020, then they didn't go through COVID like the rest of us. But I started thinking about what next looked like. And I think there are some things that were determining factors which I don't want to speak about because they're very personal to me. But it was very clear I was going to leave Safaricom. How and when that was going to happen, I don't know. I registered BE in 2018 as almost a joke, Richie. It wasn't a plan I'd put on paper. A lot of my friends and colleagues used to say all the time, Zah, you should do your own thing, you should do your own thing. You know, you should really think about opening your own company. So one fine day on a June, I called my lawyer and I said, register the company.
And why B?
So actually, I wanted the name the Brand Experience Company. But when she went to get that name, somebody had already registered it. And because I was not serious, when she called and said, what's available is the BE Experience Company, I said, just register, I'll figure it out when here's the money. Shh, you're disturbing me kind of thing. I wasn't taking it seriously in 2018, no. It was vibes, for real. And I say that with a lot of, humility, because I knew I was going to register it. I announced I registered my own company, but I didn't know there was no business plan on paper that in 5 years I'd be out of here. So that was it. I wanted the Brand Experience Company. That was the name I really wanted. I could have called it the Zaheeda Suleman Corporate Communications or whatever it was, but it didn't feel right. I was like, no. I wanted the Brand Experience Company because it says everything we were going to do. I'm a big believer of your name should sell you.
Yeah.
And so that's it. That's what it was. So when Edda called, the lawyer I used, she said, and I said, hey, just take it. What are the other options? They were not hitting home. So I said, just register this one. I'll figure life out later. And then in 2020, I called my friend Brian Mungay, who actually was also in Safaricom years before and had left to start his own business. And we'd kind of stayed in touch on and off. And in 2020, I said to him, I'm thinking of leaving, tell me about life. And he told me all that stuff. He said, Zai, it's not easy, but it's very fulfilling. Once you taste freedom, you'll never go back. So I started thinking about it from that point. And then I think probably around when I became very serious about I'm leaving, I told Brian, I need somebody I can't, even though I'm in brand, it's like a doctor doesn't treat his own family. I couldn't build my own visual identity and stuff for BE. So I went and I started with him in his office and we had a meeting, and him, Oscar, Cormac, all of them who've become just a big part of our lives today when we do business together. They sat down and they helped me build our website and figure out the brand identity for BE, etc. And that's how BE was born. And then I put it out. And then I'll fast forward to how the identity of BE came about. But I think right about now, 2020, 2021 is happening. Restructuring Safaricom starts happening. My department is collapsed. It's now made into brand, a full department.
This is now after Ndegwa's coming?
Yes, now Peter's come in.
Okay.
And so my department is now, so in essence, my department as brand experience is now becoming an even bigger one, because now it's going to be the brand center of excellence, and now brand communications, customer education, media, brand experience. 5 units have now come under this brand, and I become head of brand. But in that whole process, we had to apply for our jobs and stuff. So I'm holding fort, and at the point now when we're called in by Sylvia and HR to be informed that we need to reapply for our jobs, I'm like, I don't want to apply. And
what?
Richie, yeah. And it sounds like I'm summarizing it just for the purposes of this conversation, but I had started to think about why go through the process when I don't want to stay. Makes sense?
Yeah.
So by the time I'm being told you have to apply for your job, I was like, actually, no. Let's not go through the process. I'll be wasting your time.
Wow.
Yeah, so at that point I informed the business that I would not be applying for the job and that I wanted out and that I wanted to take the exit.
Yes.
And they honored that, because I think where I had reached and the people that I was interacting with every day, so Sylvia as my boss, the HR team had understood that I was not coming to take, it was not an emotional decision. I wasn't upset. I wasn't affected by the restructure. The intention very much was that Za should stay, but I didn't want to stay.
In fact, you're going to stay with more responsibility.
If I got the job.
Yes.
If I stayed and applied for the job and I made it through the process, I would have been brand director. So the HOD position is now becoming brand director. So that transition means if I get the job, I'm now at EXCO level, at brand level. Brand, Director reporting straight into CEO.
But what are the chances of you getting the job with all the years that you have been?
You never know.
I mean, you never know, granted.
But that's not now where I was seeing myself. So whether or not it was a promise, it wasn't a promise, it wasn't going to matter because I wanted out. I was very clear in my heart and soul with a lot of fear. And I think that's what people don't talk about was the courage to say, I want to go out, knocked me out. It was a lot to take in, but at the same time, my heart and soul were not happy. They were like, we need to go. And the brain was like, we need to be real, we need a job. And I kept convincing myself that I have to be employed, Richie, and then started applying for other jobs. And then made it into a very big position. So another brand, a huge brand, called and said, we understand you want to leave Safaricom, let's talk. So I went in genuinely thinking that I was made. Richie, all my life, I never thought I was born to be an entrepreneur. I thought I was to just be employed and earn a salary and just be like that until I retire, whenever I retire. So I went in for the interview for a very big position as a brand marketing director in the specific brand, which is huge.
So you right now at this stage, other people hiring you, it's director level now.
Yes, and also you're not applying, you are now, you're called.
Yes.
At this level, you hardly apply for a job. It's more somebody. So I was approached by this brand, said the CEO had wanted to speak to me, so went in and spoke to the CEO. And anyway, first they put me through the first round of get to know the brand, etc. And as the colleagues that would have been my colleagues if I took the job were talking, etc., we were supposed to speak for an hour. It turned into 2.5 hours. We talked about everything. So I didn't know it was an interview process. I did. To be fair, I knew I was walking into an interview. And I remember Richie walking out of there, and my husband, who knew I was leaving Safaricom and now I've gone for another job interview, because he doesn't know what this woman of his wants to do with her life. Him is just going, you want to stay at home and take care of the babies? Let's do that. You want to start gardening? Let's do that. He'll support whatever. Supportive. So now his wife has walked into this big brand to be interviewed for this big job. And when I came home, I said, oh my God, I hope they don't call me back. I really pray they don't call me back. I don't want the job. And that was the biggest sign to me that I was not going to go back to employment, and I didn't know that. I think everything around me seemed to know.
It was time.
But it seemed like my heart, my mind, everything else knew that I was not going back to employment, other than I don't know how to explain it.
I get it.
Like it was an out-of-body experience where somebody knows you're about to walk into a glass door, you don't know, and then you walk into it. And that's the aha moment.
Did they call you back?
Yes, so they went through a process, and then after 7 months, when they decided, they went through everything, they came back to offer me the job.
Oh man, but now you've moved on.
I'm still in SAF at this point. I've kind of fast forwarded to you.
Yes, okay, no.
I'm fast forwarding because I know I want to leave. I've done an interview in August. February, I say I don't want to go through the process. May, I announce my exit to Safaricom, and May is when the brand comes back and says, you've gotten the job. I'm on my last 3 months with Safaricom. So technically, these guys are now willing to buy out the 3 months.
The 3 months, yes.
Because they need somebody straight away. However, before I went through the next process of meeting the board, because you sit to the CEO and then he has to introduce you to the board because you're now going to sit at ExCo level. I said to him, I went into the office and I respectfully said, please, first of all, I have not heard from you guys in 6-7 months, so I never banked on the fact that you were ever going to call me back. I thought you found a candidate, etc. But I said, it's not mine to say now because I have not gone to tell Safaricom what my intentions are, but my intentions are not to take the job. And I don't want us to go through a process of you doing the offer and then me meeting the board and all of that stuff for me to decline, because I'm going to decline. So I said respectfully, and if this was a year ago, 2 years ago, we would be having a very different conversation. But I said, I'm in a transition point in my life and I'm not clear on where I'm going and what I'm doing. And I have to be honest. If I take that job, I'll leave it in 2-3 months' time anyway. I'd rather not do that to you. I think you've gone through a process of looking for the right person, and I don't think I'm that person to fit the role because of who and where I am in my life right now. And that's now when we're still in touch. He's a fantastic CEO. I have a lot of respect for him. He found the right candidate. She's doing a great job. Come back to Safaricom, gave my intention to leave in February, March, April. I think there was just a delayed process in me announcing my exit, because one of the things was, let me announce my exit to my team myself. Then you advertise for the role, which they respectfully waited to do. So I announced my exit in May with my last, so June, July, August were going to be my final months. And then Peter asked me to stay on until the end of the financial year, which was the March. We agreed, long story short, instead of an employee, that I would come in under BE, that the contract would be given to BE as my first client. And so whereas I stopped being an employee of Safaricom in August, from September 1, I was a contractor, but by all means and purposes, I was still doing exactly the same thing. I was running the department. I still had all my, but I mean, Safaricom treated, I have no negative thing to say about how my exit was done. I was given a lot of respect in my exit. I don't think there was an ask that wasn't fulfilled. Even when I left, I was still asked if I wanted to keep my driver and car until I buy my own car and stuff, and they were fabulous. They were really good to me. I can't complain, Richie. Anything I would say would just be hate for nothing. I was treated extremely well. So my last working days as employee is August 2022. BE becomes operational September 1, 2022, sorry. But nothing's happening other than me still being in Safaricom. And then exit is proper exit, cut the umbilical cord, if you may, is 31st of March, 2023.
Wow.
So we are now...
Just 2 questions in this place. There's a lot here, and I don't want you to, I know you can, I feel like you've...
Yeah, I'm just summarizing.
Yes, and I know, so it sounds like, from the outside or from just a person watching, all the amount of transitions happening within the organization, it looked like the CEO, the incoming CEO, had an effect on that. But what it sounds like from hearing your story, and stop me if I'm wrong, it sounds like transition period had hit in your life for employment, and this
for
coincided.
Me, Richie, the timing was right. It was the right time for me. It happened when I was ready for it.
Okay.
There was no push out and all the drama that people like to think it is. It was just honestly, and if there was a push out, it worked in my favor.
Now in hindsight, or at that time?
Anytime.
Okay.
But I wasn't forced out. And I think that's really important for people to whatever.
Yeah.
There were options in how I would remain if I wanted to remain. I didn't want to stay. I wanted to write the next chapter of my life.
All HODs were being asked to reapply?
In phases, yes.
Okay. Alrighty.
Ours was that moment.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. I get it. I understand. It's just that at that time, again, I'll say it because I know the audience thinks it, and sometimes I don't like a lot of the old tough left. And what it sounds like, and it's from just hearing your story, because even this new offer to this other job, you still didn't go to it.
Because that's not where I wanted to be anymore. I didn't want to be employed, and that was what my instinct was telling me, was that go out and try something new. try and be on your own, and if it doesn't work out, you always go back to employment. And I think that's what people need to realize is, don't wait to take that risk later on in life, because the older you grow, the harder it becomes. And so I would rather have taken the risk that I did then at the age of 47 than try and say, I think at 50 I'll be better placed, or at 55. Actually, I said, you know what, I'm still very marketable. So let me go out, and if in a year's time it's not working, I go back and apply for a job and go back to employment. But try.
Yeah.
I owed myself that I should try.
Yeah. You didn't want to be sitting here today regretting not have tried that.
I wasn't happy in the inside. And it's not anything Safaricom or anybody did. It was just, I wasn't content with what was happening for me. Richie, I'm in a big office, driver, car, anything I could ask for, big job. In fact, when I was leaving, people thought I was nuts. My family my husband understood it because he lived every day and he supported. But my bigger family was like, there were family meetings called and I was told to come and explain myself. First of all, who leaves a big job? But who leaves Safaricom?
It's so good to hear this. You know, we sometimes people hear, we hear the money isn't everything situation. We always hear that. And guys are like, yeah, that's because it's like, you know what I mean?
It's because you have it.
It's because you don't have it.
Yeah.
But this is you saying, it hits a point also in life where contentment and passion and all those things that's inside that are intangible is more important than just this.
And Richie, that's such a privileged position to speak from, because there are people who want to leave today and they can't afford to leave. And I think that's something we also, not everybody is blessed with those kind of choices of, I'm going to leave and try something new with the very courageous are the ones who actually get up with nothing and go out and make something of themselves. And there are many of those kind of people. And there are people who are stuck. I have clients who tell me, I wish I could just wake up and go like you, but I don't know where to start. I don't have capital to start my business. I don't have a skill set like you do.
The golden handcuffs, in an essence.
I don't know that that's what it is, Richie, to be fair. I genuinely think there's some people who have so much responsibility in their shoulder that walking out and not earning that salary is not an option for them.
I get it.
And I think it's so important to understand that exists. It's not a golden hand. Golden handcuff would have been me if I stayed there. Right?
There's some people who their job feeds very many people. School, okay, even if it's just your homestead, school fees, university fees.
There's a
rent,
woman I
mortgage.
know who dreams of having her own business, but she can't walk out because those responsibilities you've just talked about are all sitting on her and her husband. They can't afford to just wake up and go and decide they're going to start something new. Maybe one day when she's more settled and she's got, but there are people who've got so much going on, Richie. So there's golden handshake for the lucky guys. But there's real people out here who want to do these things, but just simply cannot do that because of where they are in their lives right now.
I really love that you've said this, Zah, and thank you for even checking me and sort of making me see it from this different context. There are people who need to do what they need to do for the others. If it was just for them, that decision would be easy to make.
Yeah, I think the courage to step out and say, I've done enough to secure walking out and taking a risk is courage and hard work and planning and a million other things that somebody else who's sitting in the same room as us may not have right now in their lives.
I also asked this question because of, and I'm glad I asked it to you, with the salary you are making, I've had a lot of financial people being here and being like, yes, just invest this much a month or do this, start a portfolio. But I'm like, even with what you are earning, you are still not able to do it. Are you getting what I'm saying? To have a passive portfolio that just spits out a lot of money every month to you to take care whether or not you go to work.
No, because mortgage, 4 children, school fees, everyday life, No, I wish. Who doesn't wish for that? No. I think there's also, Richie, when I left Safaricom, I could have gone home and stayed home and not worked for a year or two and benefited exactly how you're saying, because I got a package when I left, a redundancy package. I could have lived on that. But I was like, hey, I can't just sit in my house. My husband was like, you could take some time off, but not too long because you'll start nagging me kind of thing. But the truth is, that's not how I'm wired. Even today, I don't know that. And if I had stepped out to take a break and then tried to get BE to take off, I think I would have lost that momentum.
Yeah.
It was very important that I left and immediately put myself out or put BE out to be considered in this space.
Okay. So the transition into entrepreneurship.
But I think the important thing about this journey of mine is it's not been blood, sweat, tears, push, push, push. I've not walked out of Safaricom to start an agency to compete with the bigger agencies in my industry. I'm not where they are today. They've grown there over time. I'm not trying to be an agency with big offices and 35 staff members pitching and over. That's not our model. We work on a project basis.
So what does BE do?
We do event. So basically, we're a brand experience agency. The way you experience our work is through event execution, but we do a lot of things behind the scenes. So if you look at an asset like Soulfest, we're supporting with marketing, with the brand identity, with production, we're an all-rounder for them. If you look at like a brand like Qual, when we do their team building, we come in for that moment, we project manage, so support them, orchestrate. We're a one-stop shop. So you as a brand, Richie, you might come and say, I want to celebrate 10 years of CTA. We will think through it for you from start to what the brand should be, what should it be looking like, etc., all the way to execution. So we're a one-stop shop in events, basically. That's how you'd experience us. We've done different work. Now the way it comes through is through events.
I completely understand what you're saying. So before the end product that the people come in, I call them bums on seats.
Yeah.
By the time the bums on seats are coming, there's all this different stuff
that's happening behind
that
the
has
scenes.
happened.
Yeah.
What color is the decor going to do? What venue are we going to do this? How is the sound and lighting going to be? What do you want people to feel?
And that's very operational. There's a strategic side to it. So when a brand comes and sits down with us and tells us, we're celebrating 50 years of brand XYZ and we want you guys to put this together, we start thinking all the way from, okay, how do we tell those stories of 50 years? Who is telling those stories? Why should the people be in the room? Who's in the room? So there's a strategic
What's
side.
The creative?
And the reason we don't call ourselves an events management company is events is the execution of it. The brand experience is how does a Richie who's coming to interact with your brand experience the brand for everything it is. From the time that he interacts with the brand at the point where he says he's going to come for this event. And what should he leave feeling about this brand when he goes? So when people come for Soulfest, for example, the journey starts with that person wanting to buy the ticket when they see us online. That's where the brand experience starts.
This is 360. I didn't know this offering happens in the market.
Yeah.
Reason why I say this, when you were at Safaricom, and Kanji and Kijiji get it, their job is just the creative on stage.
Yes, that was
just that.
But there's
the sound, lighting, the marketing,
there's a
the
machinery.
Security.
Yeah.
So you are end to end.
We're a one-stop shop.
That is, first and foremost, a lot of work and understanding, but it's also brilliant.
So we've done that end to end, or some people will come and say, hey, we have everything, we just need somebody to be the choir master and get everyone to sing the way they're supposed to sing. And we've done that as well. Yeah.
So any aspect within this you can do?
Yes. So if you come and tell me, Zah, we only need you to look after what's happening on stage, somebody's going to look after. We prefer to be end to end, and I'll tell you why. It's very difficult to come and pick up somebody else's pieces, because if it doesn't go right, then So we try to avoid a situation of there's many mixed masters. We'd prefer to be it. But for the brands that we know are well organized and have really good agencies that we work with, we have no problem in doing that with them. We work really well with them.
I get it.
Yeah. So we have a couple of clients who have multiple agencies, and we all come together and work as a team. And I think when you're comfortable enough, and the agencies that are very comfortable working with us, and the agencies who are like, because it's competition. Yeah. And we get that. It's no hard feelings. We get it.
So how do you start when the B Experience company? Am I right?
Yes.
So does Soul First become your first client? Because you were telling me that Sauti Soul came for
my farewell.
Your farewell.
So that was probably the first client, if you may. But remember, nothing takes off until the following year.
Yeah, because
so if you say the first approach was actually, I've never looked at it like that, so thank you for saying that. But the first approach was actually Sauti Soul for Soul First.
Yes, I've got a gig. I'm not crazy.
I'm not crazy. I got work. I could do this.
How does that feel? No, let's be honest. How does that feel when there's some callback after you take this leap?
It feels good, and it's for. Look, Richie, I thought maybe the first event when I walk out might be a small gig. Yes, somebody telling you, come take over this baby that attracts 15,000 people. And again, you yourself don't know what you've stepped up. Remember, I'm still in a journey. I'm still this caterpillar that is trying to become a butterfly, and
nice
I'm not there yet,
I like
right?
That.
I'm still not there. I'm still shedding this skin of mine, this cocoon, if you may. It feels good. But Richie, look, the reality is I leave Safaricom in March. In between, I've done some consultancy. Safaricom's a client. And I step out April, May, June. Phew. There's nobody's calling. Nobody's calling. I have one client, which for NDA reasons, I won't speak about here.
And are you sending proposals? Are you banging on doors?
Not right now, no, because I'm landscaping. I'm literally bringing in the red soil so that I can start planting. I've not planted anything yet. I'm watching. And I was very careful to watch first.
What does watching mean?
I was just learning the lay of the land.
Does it mean having conversations with people?
Yeah, you just watch who's doing what.
Okay.
What's the industry doing? What are the gaps? How are people pitching? What are they pitching for? Who's not pitching? How are people approaching? So, ironically, BE's first kind of corporate event was the launch of Airtel's 5G.
You're like, it's Biashara, no Biashara. Where it comes, I'm taking it.
They called and they said...
exclusivity right now.
They called and they said, we know you have your agency now. Please, would you consider coming to pitch? And I went and I met them. And I was meeting them the day I was leaving to go on holiday out of the country. So I pitched, I introduced BE, sent in our documents, etc. They sent us the proposal. We did a really solid, remember I launched Safaricom's 5G, so I know everything. I could do that deck while I was sleeping because I knew what it took us to do the other one. And we won the gig. We won the pitch fair and square. I knew nobody in Airtel, not a single person did I have in there that said, Zach can do this. We won it fair and square. Who recommended them, I think, was a friend of mine who had worked in Safaricom, and I think they reached out to her and said, hey, do you guys know who can, because 5G is a big deal for us. And they said, as you would have it, Zah left Safaricom, why don't you call her?
Yeah.
And she actually launched 5G. So that's how I ended up, then I did that. So Airtel was really my first. And then in the same week, I got another client. Same lady recommended me to another advertising agency who said they had a client who wanted could I do an exhibition stand? Let me tell you, Richie, say yes and figure out how you're going to deliver.
Yeah.
That was the thing I said. You want me to do holograms? You want me to do drone shows?
Sawa.
I'll say yes. Then I figure out, we'll figure out how to do that. And that's what it was that. So we got that job, we got visa that month as well.
Did you feel did you have to shed off the, and I really like that analogy, you said that you're a butterfly trying to figure it out, come out of the cocoon. But you see, for years, you had the Safaricom machinery.
Yeah.
So did you be like, whoa, I don't have the machinery?
Not at all. One of the things I'm super grateful for was my then friend, who's now become part of our everyday, and she has her own agencies, Kavudha.
Oh, Kavudha. Yeah.
Kavudha, and actually Kavudha was a big part of the confidence I had to leave, because she told me, I remember one time, we just, as towards the end of my days at Safaricom, we started hanging around a lot more. She was doing a wedding for a friend of mine who I'd recommended Kavudha for. I couldn't take on the job because I was still in Safaricom. And so while Kavudha was doing this wedding for this family, I was an advisor to the family, so I was very involved in the day-to-day anyway. And so Kavudha and I started become very close, and I said to her, I really think I want to leave. What do you think? etc. And she told me, Za, I can't promise you there'll be work every day, but when the work comes, the work is fabulous, and you will not go hungry out here. Wow. And she gave me a lot of courage to leave. So when I stepped out, we were already starting work with Kavudha, and we still work with Kavudha. She has her own agency, I have mine.
In fact, there's a time I thought you guys were one agency. It's just the amount of work you do together.
Yeah, when she wins, I go to support. When I win, she comes to support.
Wow.
And that's how our business model has been. None of us loses our identity. None of us is fighting each other. It's just, hey, you pitched, you won. Okay, what do you need from me? Today I need only 2 people from your team, or actually I need 10 of your guys, please.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I found a very beautiful group of people out here. One of my favorite humans, Edu, is in my team. Edu is fabulous. Let me explain this man. Edu was agency. I've known Edu from 2005. He was working for one of the decor companies. And he was just, I always saw him as a really nice guy that just happened to be in my life in the supplier system one way or the other. Edu was then working in the agency. When I announced I was leaving, he was working at the agency that was delivering for Safaricom its events. And when I announced I was leaving on the day, the word spread, and Edu was also based in Safaricom the way I was earlier in my Jinadin days. So a lot of the people who work on the account now sit in the office.
I get it.
So Edu knocked on my door and he said, can I come talk to you? And I said, yeah. I said, oh, I've heard you're leaving. We had a little bit of conversation about, and then he said, I'm going to come. Can I come with you?
What?
Yeah. So I looked at Edu, I said, Edu, I don't know where I'm going. Where are you going with me? He said, I don't know, Za, but I'm coming with you. And I said, what? I cannot take you now. Allow me to go and figure my life out. Because what am I going to pay you every month? And he said, I'll be waiting. I'm here. And then the next year, Edu called me mid-October and he said, okay.
You figured yourself out?
No, he said, I've left. I said, I've given my resignation. So I said, Edu. So I happened to be in Sankara for a meeting, a Solfest meeting, ironically, for the Solfest we were doing that year. That's the first one we were doing, the one Sauti Sol was taking a break. And I said, okay, Edu, you know you're giving me palpitations. What do you mean you've left and you're coming to me? Will you manage this life? Are you going to survive without a monthly salary? He told me, he said, I don't know what I don't know, but what I know is I'm coming to be with you. I'm following you where you are. So I said, okay, Edu, can you come to Sankara, please? Because I think this phone call isn't helping my life. So he came and we had coffee and I said, what is it that you want to do? He said, Za, I don't know why you're not hearing me, but I'm coming with you. I said, okay, fine. When's your last day? He said, October 30th. I said, fine. November 1, report at Soulfest at Uhuru Gardens. See me there. Richie, I didn't think this man was serious. Yeah, I moved on. November 1, he's like, okay, I'm here. Where do I come? Where do I park? I'm like, this child is serious. And we've never looked back. Edu is still with me. And we're doing fabulous things together. And the team is growing. Every day, we have a fabulous team.
You have consultants on job gig, on depending on workload, not employees.
Yeah. And that's the model everybody wants.
Yeah.
People want freedom. Remember that thing Brian Mungay told me? He said, once you taste freedom, you can't go back. It's very fulfilling. There are months where like, we have no months. But the months the work comes, it's good work. And we've been blessed, Richie. I don't think anybody has left. Nobody's forced also. I think you have to take decisions that are important to you. But it's an ecosystem of people that we have about 29 of us on this particular group. And all of us have every skill set you can ask for sits in that WhatsApp group.
Wow.
Yeah.
So if I tell you, I'm doing a gig and I need a lion.
Yes. Let me tell you, in that 29 people in that group, there's somebody who can do something within it. You will not struggle. We have a guy who's an expert in sound. We have a guy who's an expert in stage design and lighting. We have somebody who's great at brand. We have somebody who's great at execution. We have somebody who's a security guru. So those people are all sitting, doing amazing things. So like I said, if Kavuda gets a gig this month and she needs part of my team, we go in with everything.
Just figure out which part of the component she lacks.
Most of the time, it's everyone. Most of the time, Beba, it's like Beba Watu Toyota, you can't leave one child behind. When there's work, we all share work, fair and square.
That's such a cool model.
And that sometimes the work is great, sometimes you'll get 5K, but people are like, we are working. And that's where the excitement is, that guys are like, hey, we got to do this gig.
The B. So this part of the CTA, it feels short, but because you're in it. You know what I mean?
3 years, I'm in it. And it's only 3 years.
Exactly. What happens in this stage is, this is where the journey has gotten into.
Yeah.
So I give you 10 years.
This is the chapter I'm writing.
And then I come back after 10 years and I'm like, okay, let's now.
Yeah. This chapter is currently writing itself.
Exactly. And it would not be right for me to try and get you to tell more than you have told of this chapter. You've told it from a perspective of, what's the website? I want to put the website on. Anybody looking for...
I'd rather our Instagram page. I think that's where
Instagram.
It's probably where you'll experience our work as vibrantly as we'd want.
So you've even got videography services?
Yes. I'm telling you.
That one of the pillars are sorted.
I think we should take Nakomats. You want it, we've got it. No, but ours is we bring brands to life. That's our payoff line.
I love that. You bring brands to life.
Yes.
Remember, it's a bit of a tongue twister.
We bring brands to life.
I might, because we've been talking from 9 in the morning, and guess what time it is? 7
It's what you
PM.
said. You would need me until 7 o'clock, eh? You're not joking.
So I want to do a hard stop right here. But
Sure.
First and foremost, I want to tell you thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you for your life. Thank you for, number 2, your posture in which you have come here to sit here. I thank you because you could have chosen to not share some of these stories, but I know you have shared them. I call it potholes filled up for those who came, by those who came before me. Like you're sharing those stories to fill up the potholes so that those people listening can not make the same mistakes or can learn from your journey. You don't have to do it, but you did it. And that's what makes you a superstar. So thank you so much. Thank you so much. One of the ways that we know how to say the best thank you is to pray for you.
Amen.
Let's pray life over you.
Yes, please.
So let's pray. And then after that, I'll ask you to look at that camera and do a parting shot. And we're done. This goes live immediately.
Really? You don't edit or anything?
No, it goes live.
Do you need an editor? We can supply one.
But then you'll be very shocked. I'm the one who edits CTA.
Wow.
And I do it because I'm extremely...
There's a way you want to tell that story.
Yeah, it's also what I love doing. It's a hobby as well as it is in quote
I
unquote.
see it as a gift. I think there's something... God has blessed so many of us with different things that only you can do in a way that you do it. So enjoy.
Yeah, I really love the way guys watch Netflix. I enjoy what this editing as a hobby.
Oh,
so anyway, let's pray for you because I'm
this.
so blessed to have you here. Heavenly Father, we thank you so much for your daughter Zah. We thank you so much for her life. We thank you so much just for the opportunity to have her come here. I'm extremely honored by her posture in which she's come with to sit here. I thank you for the journey that you've taken her life through, it's not been easy, but some of those difficult times have forged her. Losing people has not been easy. Losing loved one has not been easy. But somehow it was through your strength that you kept her standing. I thank you for just blessing her with such amazing people who came into her life. Everybody that she's mentioned who has shaped her life in such a positive way, all the way from Gina, all the way until Kavudha and even the rest of the team that she's with, and everybody in between. I also thank you even for those who were in her life, may not have rubbed her off the right way, but that experience in an essence pushed her and kept her on the path. So I say thank you because throughout her whole journey, you've walked with her. Through the ups, through the downs, through the difficult, you've been with her and you've given her wisdom, you've helped her, you've corrected her where she may not have made mistakes. I thank you even for the people who you've put under her. This has been an amazing story. I thank you for her husband and for her children. And I just want to pray blessings on blessings over her. For the B Experience Company, it's at its genesis stage, but I thank you that it just doesn't start. It's, as much as you said it's 3 years old, I'm like it's 25 years old because it started before, it started underground. It's like the iceberg. There's a lot that has been happening underground that only now is coming above water and we see it as B. But the foundation has been built for years and years and years. So we thank you and we bless her and we speak over her, give her many more jobs, including even through this CTA. But for now, excited to have a conversation with her in the next 10 years. We ask that you keep her and her family safe and her loved ones, and that you be the one to elevate her. In the mighty name of Jesus we pray. Amen. And before I go and before Za does her parting shots, I thank you each for watching. This has been such an amazing CTA. This is available on TikTok in like, this one will be about maybe 120 videos to 180. If you're watching the snippets right now, we're also going to put the full version together as one. It's also going to be on Facebook, YouTube, and we'll chop up some snippets for the different social media platforms. But the full versions will be on TikTok, on FB, and definitely on YouTube. To my main man, I don't do this alone. The only reason why you've been able to do this and been able to capture everything is because even me, I have a team. I have a team. My main man, Aizo. I keep saying, if you're looking for the best videographer who works with diligence, who works with excellence, these are those things that you're talking about.
Yeah, the 10,000 hours.
Aizo has got like 100,000. I hate calling his name because I know he's always going to get business. He'll be stolen. But if there's somebody worth stealing, it's Aizo.
Let your light shine.
Yes, because he's an amazing human being. He's also got a YouTube channel where he films the behind the scenes of the setup of this. So definitely check it out. Isaiah Nyakora or Aizo Nyakora? Isaiah Nyakora, that's where it is. But for now, I'm going to keep my mouth shut. Hit that subscribe button, but forget even subscribe. Share this video because this story has just been incredible. Many people need to hear this story. I'm like, this story should be studied. You know, there's a university in States that was studying CTAs. I'm like, this story should be studied. We've just read the book of Zaheeda.
You're very kind. Thank you. Zaheeda Suleman Arain. Suleman was my father's name. Arain is my husband's name.
Okay. I can keep talking, but it's time for you to look at that camera so that you can go to your kids.
So I can go to my babies, my grown-up babies.
You have kept your word until 7.
Yes.
So over to you. Look at that camera and do your parting shot.
Thank you, everyone. Keep it here for the next chapter that we are writing, and follow us on Be Experience on Instagram and just see the magic we're creating. Thank you for being a part of today and of the journey that is next. See you in 10 years, Richie?
10 years it is.
10 years.
And can we do this one in Monaco?
Yes. Who is refusing? Just tell me which plane we're on.
Done.
Awesome. Thank you, everyone. Bye.